Hey y'all, as promised and or threatened, I'm going to talk a little bit about weird fiction, specifically The King in Yellow, a collection of short stories written by Robert W. Chambers published back in 1895, so it's been out for a long time. That really formed a kind of seedbed for weird fiction, tinged with cosmic horror, and a lot of people were influenced by that who were involved in cosmic horror. The original The King in Yellow was 9 stories, 4 of which really qualify as weird fiction, and the remainder are kind of more mainstream romantic stories, not weird fiction. You almost feel like Robert W. Chambers was kind of like, yeah, I'll put together some things, and here's some interesting stories, and who knows what'll happen. But anyway, huge influence in those stories. And I actually did my own collection that came out back in 2023 called The Thing in Yellow. And it's a collection of 13 stories, all of which are based in that King in Yellow Carcosa mythos. And I really enjoyed working on this. Again, part of my intention with that was to build on a lot of the things that I kind of took out of the original King in Yellow stories and kind of just put them in a much more modern setting. And it was a fun thing to write, and I think people have enjoyed it. Since again, all 13 stories of it are tied to it. They're all weird fiction tales, and they're interconnected. I made them. There's kind of Easter eggs within each story that they refer to other stories, which I like. I like stuff like that. I love cross-referencing things in stories. I think that there's some fun in that, and I certainly did that with the Thing in Yellow. That universe is interesting to me in a way more than the some of the Lovecraftian stuff, because the King in Yellow is such an elusive figure, and the play, The King in Yellow, which is only obliquely referred to, is always it's always just lurks at the kind of the edge of your vision, where some of the other stuff, and people since then have certainly tried to weave it more into the Lovecraftian elder gods. Haster is referenced specifically. But as long as for me, and no doubt, and some of you imagine remember it from the first season of True Detective when there's references clearly. There was an underpinning of that in that series, so it wasn't just a police drama. It was like police encountering weird fictional cosmic horrific stuff, but done in such a way as the police narrative is never completely upended by it. It's only just sort of like dressing and seasoning in that to make the stories more mysterious and interesting. So for people, if you enjoyed those aspects of that, I think people might enjoy The Thing in Yellow. It's I actually have there's another series of short stories I'm going to do in a few years that will be kind of a sequel. It will be a sequel. Forget kind of. That's my Gen X coming out. Kind of. But it will definitely contain more stories, because there's something about the King in Yellow and Carcosa that is entrancing and mesmerizing. It is. It's like a great void you can kind of find yourself pulled into if you're not careful, and that's hence the whole idea of the play driving people mad. The first act is fine, but when you get to the second act, you go crazy, and I like that about that universe, and so a lot of that is incorporated into The Thing in Yellow, and so for me, of the various cosmic horror elements that I certainly find interesting and intriguing, that is always interesting to me. So anyway, if you're interested, The Thing in Yellow, good collection. It's certainly, for me, having worked in long fiction for increasingly over the years, I still have love for short stories, as I said in one of my earlier posts, but this one, they kind of have to be short stories, because I think there's just something very on the nose, very pointedly on task with regard to that lends itself to a short story format. So that's kind of for me, it's a fun exercise in that respect.